Adjunct Professor Moran, Macroeconomics 111. In our continuing discussion of international economics, we're going to discuss foreign currencies now. Every country around the world gets to pick its own currency. It has a name, and all have separate values. They all have separate values because those values are determined by supply and demand, which will be determined by either their trade surplus or trade deficit, the supply or demand for the currency. The more demand for a currency, the higher its value. The less supply, the greater its value. The less demand, the lower its value. The more supply, the less its value. And these supplies and demands are based on the demand for imports and exports, for example, in addition to other factors. Alright, so the value of a currency is determined by supply and demand for that currency. Payments for goods will be made in the currency of the country selling the goods. A hot dog vendor in New York will not want to be paid in a euro. And if you go overseas to Paris, they're going to want euros, not dollars. To buy our exports, foreign companies will need to demand dollars. To buy our imports, foreign countries will need their currency. Exports increase the demand for dollars. Imports create a demand for a foreign currency. If we want to buy, if a car distributor in the United States wants to buy Toyotas, they're going to have to exchange dollars for yen. Give the company in Japan yen to get the dollars, which they can then sell in the United States for dollars. But they're going to have to exchange their dollars for yen to give to the foreign company supplying the cars. When I say goods and services, I also mean any need to exchange currency. So if you buy an investment overseas, whether it's a stock or a bond or an actual company or a building that will pay rent, that also creates supply and demand for a foreign currency. So let's practice calculating foreign currencies using exchange rate. Exchange rates are required to accomplish trade. The formula we're going to be using is, if you need to solve for dollars, how much is a trade conducted in a foreign currency worth in dollars? So if you go to Mexico and you spend pesos, how much is that peso in dollars? That's what you'd want to know to see whether you're getting a value or not. To solve for dollars, you would take foreign currency times an exchange rate. Now, an exchange rate is how much you have to pay to get a foreign currency. So the two exchange rates are either dollars per foreign currency or foreign currency per dollars. They're inverses. So when the value of one currency goes up, the value of the other currency has to be going down. So if you want to solve for dollars, you're going to use dollars per foreign currency. If you make a word problem out of this, foreign currency divided by dollars per foreign currency, the foreign currency term will cancel out, and whatever number is left has to represent dollars. If instead you try to use the wrong exchange rate and go dollars equals foreign currency times foreign currency divided by dollars, what you end up with is foreign currency squared divided by dollars, which is meaningless. When you're trying to solve for foreign currency, so if someone comes to the United States and exchanges their foreign currency for dollars, they would want to know how much in their own currency that dollar transaction was worth. In that case, you're going to take the foreign currency divided by dollar exchange rate, and the dollar term will cancel out, leaving whatever number to be represented a foreign currency. If you incorrectly take the wrong exchange rate, dollars divided by foreign currency, what you get when you take dollars times dollars per foreign currency is dollars squared divided by foreign currency, which is meaningless. So you can straight memorize this formula and this formula, or you can try to reason it out by making sure you pick the exchange rate whereby what's given to you cancels the denominator in the exchange rate, giving you whatever number is left representing what you're trying to solve for. For example, let's say these are exchange rates for dollars compared to other currencies. So in May, dollars per currency, it took $1.4 to buy one foreign currency, 1 pound, right? Any number without a denominator has a denominator of 1. So it took $1.40 to buy 1 pound. In August, it took $1.80 to buy 1 pound. $1 could buy 64 Canadian dollars. I'm sorry, it takes 64 cents to buy 1 Canadian dollar. Here it takes only 63 cents to buy a Canadian dollar. At this time it only took 87 American dollars to buy 1 euro. 87 cents to buy 1 euro. Then in August, it took 91 cents to buy 1 euro. It took less than a dime to buy 1 Swedish krona. Then in August, it took even less to American currency to buy 1 krona. The Japanese yen is less than a penny, so it took 0.0083 cents dollars to buy a yen. Then in August, it took 0.009 dollars to buy 1 yen. The peso used to be worth about a dime to 15 cents. So it took 11 cents American to buy 1 peso. Then in August, it took 15 cents to buy 1 peso. Dollars per currency. But the inverse, if you want to do it the other way, it only took 0.71 of a pound to buy $1. Then in August, it only took 0.56 of a pound to buy $1. The denominators are 1 under here. In May, it took $1.56 Canadian to buy 1 American dollar. Then in August, it took $1.58 Canadian to buy an American dollar. 1.14 euros to buy a dollar. 1.099 euros to buy a dollar. Let's go ahead and start converting transactions. So an American goes overseas and buys the following transactions. We're being given a foreign currency, so we're going to use this one. We need to solve for we travel overseas and we're spending foreign currency. We need to know how much in dollars that is. So we're being given foreign currencies, and the exchange we're going to use is dollars per foreign currency. This way this term cancels out. So for example, we would set this up as how much is a 500 peso meal worth. We would take the exchange rate for pesos, 0.1101, which is 11 cents per peso. This represents a peso, this represents a peso, this represents a dollar. So the peso terms cancel out, and whatever number is left represents dollars. So let's do that. Which I have not done yet. So equal, we have 500 pesos times, and that's going to come out to be $55. 55.05. So a meal that's worth 500 pesos is actually costing you $55 American. In August, that meal of 500 pesos, because the exchange rate has now changed to 0.1502, that would cost you $75.10 American. Because it takes more American currency to buy a peso in August than it did in May, the dollar is said to be depreciating. So don't make the mistake of seeing this number getting larger and think the dollar is appreciating. It's depreciating. It's taking more dollars to buy a foreign currency. 11 cents to buy a peso, now 15 cents to buy a peso. Hotel room that costs 30,000 Japanese yen. So take 30,000, multiply that by the exchange rate of 0.0083, and the 30,000 yen room costs $249. In August, the exchange rate changed from 0.0083 to 0.009. As a result, that room would now cost $270. So the dollar has again depreciated. It takes more foreign currency, it takes more American money to buy a foreign currency, 0.083 American to 0.09. A BMW that costs 85,000 euros, how much would that be in dollars? So you take the 85,000 euro car and multiply it by the exchange rate of 0.87 dollars per euro, and you would get $73,950 to buy an $85,000 euro car. In August, the exchange rate has changed to 0.91. Now it takes more money to buy the euro, so the car, instead of costing $73,000 as it did in May, would now cost $77,350. The dollar has again depreciated. Let's do a pound. Okay, krona. Okay, let's do the Canadian currency. So you buy a jacket that costs $1,800 in Canadian money. Translating that back into the United States currency, you would use the exchange rate that represents dollars per foreign currency. You have 1,800 in Canadian money. Canadian money divided by the denominator Canadian money here cancels the term Canadian money out, leaving what number is left in dollars. And so your Canadian coat of 1,800 Canadian dollars costs you $1,152 United States. Now, in August, the exchange rate has changed from 0.64 to get 64 cents Canadian dollar. Now it only costs 63 cents Canadian dollar. The dollar has appreciated. It takes less United States currency to buy their currency. And if we take $1,800 Canadian dollar coat, translate that using 63 cents to Canadian dollar, we get $1,134. It takes fewer American dollars to buy the same amount of Canadian dollars because the dollar appreciated. It takes less dollars to buy a Canadian dollar. Let's do the opposite. Now, instead of an American going overseas and translating a foreign currency transaction back into dollars, now let's say people from other countries come to the United States and buy something in our country that's worth $60. Well, now what we want to do is we're being given dollars, and we need to know how much this is in foreign currency. The foreigner would want to know in his own currency how much a $60 meal would cost in his currency. Now we need the exchange rate, foreign currency divided by dollars. The verbal term dollar cancels out. Whatever number is left as a result of this expression will be in foreign currency. So we're going to go back to our table now, and now we're going to try to find exchange rates, foreign currency divided by dollars. It's not this one. This is dollars per foreign currency. We need the inverse, foreign currency divided by dollars. $60, price of the meal, times foreign currency divided by dollars of 0.71 makes the meal worth 42.60 pounds, $42.6 pounds. In August, the pound is now worth, it takes 0.56 of a pound to buy $1. 0.56 of a pound to buy $1. Multiplying 0.56 by $60 gives you 33.6 pounds. It takes less pounds to buy what used to cost, it takes less pounds to buy a $60 meal. So the pound has appreciated. The pound is appreciated against the dollar, which means the dollar has depreciated against the pound. We'll do the Canadian. example. Now, Canadians come and they buy a $60 American meal. We need to translate that $60 American meal back into a foreign currency. We're going to use the exchange rate that represents foreign currency over dollars, so the dollar term cancels out. In May, that's 1.5625 times $60. That's $93.75 Canadian. In August, the exchange rate changed to 1.5873 Canadian dollars to get $1. Multiplying 1.5873 times 60 gives us $95.24 Canadian. It takes more Canadian money to buy a $60 meal. The Canadian dollar depreciated, the American currency appreciated against the Canadian dollar. You can practice with the rest of these on your own.